They face different obstacles than we have. I mean, you think about living in a #Me2 world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Different circumstances, those kind of things. And how does the scripture speak to the women in that situation?
Right.
So you have to think about, I think, to change. So your question is, do I have to change it to speak to all cultures? Yes and no. So like here, I predominantly speak to one culture, but I run it through an application grid of those who generally attend.
Right.
And you also have to think who would be visiting if they're visiting, and that's usually family of those who are here.
Right.
Who will probably be from a very similar culture. But you speak to relationships. You speak to people who work. You speak to those who are unemployed. You speak to those who are employed. You speak to the poor and to the rich. And you try to apply all the time across those different cultures. So yes and no.
No, actually, you hit perfect.
Yeah.
I'm going to finish up with this. And you kind of answered it earlier. But as a pastor, as a teacher, is it your responsibility to reach all cultural backgrounds, or just simply to reach the one that you're in? I mean, is it our job to...
Right. That's a great question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which I guess you came up with it, so that's a good question.
Oh, yeah, great. Right.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a really good question, because I think there's a hesitancy. So you're saying, is it our responsibility to speak to all cultures?
Yeah, if there's a need,
right.
is it should we ignore that need and just be comfortable within our own culture?
Right, yeah. No, I don't think that there is. But and that's me answering from rural Appalachia, right? Yeah. And I think that there's a tendency for us as Christians to think that all the world's problems are my problems.
Right.
And in a sense, yes, we bear one another's burdens, and yes, in a sense, we must speak cross-culturally to certain things. But I wouldn't expect Keith and Debbie Myers, our brother and sister who are down in Mexico working with CSIM, to preach the same way as if they were speaking to rural Appalachia.
Right.
And I don't think it's their responsibility in Puebla to speak culturally to Raynell.
Yeah.
And I don't think in Raynell I'm supposed to speak culturally to Puebla.
No.
Right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's a totally different reality for both of us, right? So yes and no. Like, yes, I do believe that we must speak cross-culturally, and I think we need to speak truth. But I think success in ministry is based on where you're at with what you have and who God has given you.
Absolutely.
So where you're at contextually, what you have emotionally, spiritually, spiritual gifts wise, and with who God has put right in front of you. And so that calls for sensitivity, and that calls for a sensitive heart and open ears and willing hands. So wherever God has placed you, you must speak into that culture, and you must also create a culture that's a counterculture to the rest of the world, a culture of love and a culture of honesty and a culture of humility. And I want to say also a culture of acceptance, but not in our culture's understanding of acceptance.
Right.
But a culture of truth and love and holiness.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The one constant, I think, it's always going to be there. It's always going to be a learning experience, that's for sure. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Love you.
Thank you, man. Love you.